Lahat ng drama, lahat ng tawanan, lahat ng iyong all-time hits. Ang tanging huntahan ng Masang Lamaw. Number 1 sa Mega Manila, nationwide pa. Broadcasting from TGN, TVH Group of Networks. Dito lang sa inyong iisang himpilan. Cool FM. You are listening to Cool FM. Live from Cool Studios. This is koolNews at noon.
Good afternoon and welcome to koolNews at noon. A Philippine Coast Guard official on Saturday said that while China's largest Coast Guard ship was now moving out of the waters of Escoda Sabina Shoal, neither was the BRB Teresa Magpangua, the biggest PCG vessel, sailing away from the atoll within the country's exclusive economic zone. The 12,000-ton, 165-meter China Coast Guard ship, the largest Coast Guard vessel in the world and nicknamed the Monster, dropped anchor at the shoal on July 3 and was still there on Saturday. Comrade J. Darila, the PCG spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, said at the news briefing. The 97-meter Teresa Magpangua, the PCG's most modern vessel, has been stationed at Escoda since April in response to the presence of Chinese maritime military and suspected Chinese economic activities in the area. The presence of the large Coast Guard vessels of the Philippines and China at Escoda underscores the heightening maritime conflict between the two countries. A satellite picture showed that the CCG 5901 was about 650 meters northeast of the Teresa Magpangua. Since the Chinese ship arrived at the shoal, the crew of the Teresa Magpangua had consistently reminded it through radio calls that it was inside the country's EEZ and told it to leave, Darela said. He said the Chinese response was they had sovereignty over these waters as well and that they are also doing a maritime law enforcement operation. China claims nearly all of the South China Sea, including the West Philippine Sea, waters within the Philippines' 370-kilometer EEZ. Beijing has declared a fishing ban in waters that cover most of the West Philippine Sea and announced that it would enforce new regulations that would allow its Coast Guard to arrest and detain foreigners and foreign vessels that cross its borders illegally, a move that was denounced by Manila. On July 1st, before the arrival of CCG 5901, the Armed Forces of the Philippines reported that there were 2 Chinese Coast Guard vessels, 1 People's Liberation Army Navy ship, and 3 Chinese maritime military boats at Escoda. The AFP said the Monster had been on intrusive patrols in the country's EEZ since the last week of June. Darela said the Chinese ship directly encroached on the country's EEZ after it departed China's Hainan Island on July 1st. The ship headed directly to Ayungin Sakatama Shoal, then to Panganiban Mishti Reef, where China built its largest artificial island before sailing to Escoda, he said. China sent its biggest Coast Guard ship to the shoal to intimidate Teresa Magpangua into leaving the shoal, according to Darela. But the PCG will not order the Teresa Magpangua to return to Palawan, he said. With the clear guidance of our President and the intention of the Commandant of the Philippine Coast Guard to begin our presence in Escoda Shoal, we're not going to pull out and we're not going to be intimidated, he said. Darela did not say whether that decision was due to lessons learned when the country lost control over Pandandak scrap shoal to China after the Philippine Navy left the shoal following a 2-month standoff in 2012, with the understanding that the Chinese vessels would also leave Pandandak. Escoda is about 139 kilometers west of Palawan. About 67 kilometers to its west is Ayungin, where the grounded BRP Sierra Madre serves as an AFP outpost. Escoda serves as the rendezvous point or staging area for the rotation and resupply mission to the Sierra Madre, which the Chinese have been preventing in an increasingly aggressive manner since last year. The appearance of CCG 5901 in the Philippine EEZ came 2 weeks after the June 17 attack by the Chinese Coast Guard against a resupply mission, seriously wounding 1 sailor who lost a finger. The Chinese also confiscated rifles and deliberately damaged equipment on Navy boats used to deliver supplies to the Sierra Madre. The Chinese wielded bolos, knives, spears, used tear gas, high-pitched sirens, and high-powered strobe lights to disrupt the resupply mission. The China state-run Global Times, quoting CCG spokesperson Gan Yu, accused the Philippines of bringing a large amount of supplies and even suspected construction materials suggest that the Philippines intends to eventually establish a permanent facility in Escoda. According to Tarela, it is not our burden to de-escalate because we are always only on the receiving end of the escalatory action of the China Coast Guard. We are just maintaining our presence. We are not provoking anybody. We are just carrying out our protective duty of maintaining our presence in the West Philippine Sea, he said. The PCG official also dismissed China's claim that the Teresa Bangua would be another permanent AFP outpost in the West Philippine Sea, similar to the Sierra Madre. The Bangua, Teresa said, is the PCG's flagship vessel and the most expensive Coast Guard vessel that we have on our own inventory. Outpost is something permanent. Again, this is a vessel that approaches Escoda Shoal and the immediate vicinity of Escoda Shoal, he said. So regardless of whatever comments that the Chinese are saying, whether they are implicating that this will just be another Sierra Madre, or this is a way for us to violate anything as they claim, I think we don't have to listen to them, he added. And now for the international headlines. Tank tracks still fresh on his field in southern Gaza's coastal area of Al-Mawasi. Natal Abu Jassar lamented the damage war has wrought on his trees and crops. Look at the destruction, the 39-year-old farmer told AFP, holding an uprooted tomato plant. He pointed to his greenhouse metal frame and its white plastic sheeting strewed across the plot, inside an area designated a humanitarian zone by the Israeli army. People were sitting peacefully under farmland, and suddenly tanks arrived and fired at us, and then there were airstrikes. Abu Jassar said the Israeli operation in late June destroyed about 40 dunams or 10 acres of land and killed 5 laborers. His is not an isolated case. Across Gaza, 57% of agricultural land has been damaged since the war began, according to a joint assessment published in June by the UN's Agriculture and Satellite Imagery Agencies, FAO and UNOSAT. The damage threatens Gaza's food sovereignty, Matthew Henry of the Food and Agriculture Organization told AFP, because 30% of the Palestinian territory's food consumption comes from agricultural land. If almost 60% of the agricultural land has been damaged, this may have a significant impact in terms of food security and food supply. The Gaza Strip exported $44.6 million worth of produce in 2022, mainly to the West Bank and Israel, with strawberries and tomatoes representing 60% of the total, according to FAO data. That number fell to zero after the October 7 attack on southern Israel that resulted in the deaths of 1,195 people, mostly civilians, according to an AFP tally based on Israeli figures. Israel's retaliatory offensive has killed at least 38,098 people, also mostly civilians, according to figures from the Hamas-run territory's health ministry. The damage assessment on the agricultural land comes as the UN Hunger Monitoring System estimated in June that 96% of Gaza faces high level of acute food insecurity. Contacted by AFP, the Israeli army said it does not intentionally harm agricultural land. In a statement, it said Hamas often operates from within orchards, fields, and agricultural land. The impact is worse in the Palestinian territories north, where 68% of agricultural land is damaged, although the southern area encompassing parts of Al-Masawi has seen the most significant increase in recent months due to military operations. UNOSAT's Laura Bromley told AFP the damage is generally due to the impact of activities such as heavy vehicle activity, bombing, shelling, and other conflict-related dynamics, which would be things like areas burning. Near the southern city of Rafah, 34-year-old farmer Ibrahim Dihir feels helpless after the destruction of 20 dunams or 5 acres of land he used to lease, and all his farming equipment with it. As soon as the Israeli bulldozers and tanks entered the area, they began bulldozing cultivated lands with various trees, including fruits, citrus, guava, as well as crops like spinach, molokhia, malo, eggplant, squash, pumpkin, and sunflower seedlings, he said before listing more damage in the testimony of the area's past agricultural abundance. The hair, whose family exported its produce to the West Bank and Israel, now feels destitute. We used to depend on agriculture for our livelihood day by day, but now there's no work or income. Former Abu Mahub Arab also finds himself with no source of income. The 60-year-old owns 52 dunams or 3.7 hectares of land, of which crops and fruit trees used to grow. The Israeli army passed through the land, completely wiping out all trees and crops, he told AFP. They bulldozed and shelled the land, turning it into barren pits. The harm done to farmland in Gaza will last far beyond tank tracks and explosions, said Bromley of UNOSAT. With modern weaponry, a certain percentage is always going to fail. Tank shells won't explode, artillery shells won't explode, so clearing that unexploded ordnance is a massive task, he said. It will require propping every centimeter of the soil before you can allow the farmers back onto it. Despite the risk, the Hare wants to return to farming. We want the war to stop and things to return to how they were so we can farm and cultivate our lands again. Still to come on koolNews at noon, Solon asked House to pass bill that will protect history subject from revision. And in international headlines, woman fights Tokyo election in male-dominated Japan. It is 12 minutes after 12 and koolNews at noon will return after these messages. We will be right back. Welcome back. Let's continue now. Tokyo residents voted Sunday to elect a new governor for the Japanese capital with incumbent Yukihiro Koike challenged by opposition figure Han Yo, with two prominent women in the country's male-dominated political sphere. Japan has never had a woman prime minister, and a large majority of lawmakers are men, but Tokyo, accounting for a tenth of the national population and a fifth of the economy, has been run since 2016 by former television anchor Koike, age of 71. While few are while few now quote the former defense and environment 14 million people. This will be some relief ahead of national elections due by late 2025 to the ruling Liberal Democratic Party. Of deeply of deeply unpopular Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, who backs Kyoke, even though she backed away from the LTP in 2017. The election comes after new government data showed the average number of children a, a woman is expected to have a record hit or have to have hit a record low of 1.2 last year, and Tokyo's figure was 0.99, the first below one for any Japanese region. Paul Kyoke, who has campaigned with an AI version of herself, is and her nearest rival, Henho, who goes one by one name and is backed by Japan's main opposition parties, have pledged to expand support for child rearing, with Kyoke promising the subsidized epidurals. After having their first child, I hear people say they don't want to experience that pain again, Kyoke said according to local media. I want people to see childbirth and raising children as a happiness, not a risk. I will implement genuine long-term fertility, support young people truly, and expand their life choices, Ranho said. I will also realize transparent fiscal reforms where everyone can check the situation. A dark horse in the race could be independent candidate Shinji Ishimaru, age of 41, a former mayor of Akitakata in western Japan. Recent polls also suggested, with some swing voters preferring him over Kyoke and Ho. A record 58 people are standing in the election, not all of them serious, with one the Joker and calling for polygamy to be legalized, and others campaigning for more golf, poker, or just to advertise their purposes in the red light district. All right. Okay. So apparently, that the article I was about to read has been taken down. So I don't know what just happened. I'm not. Okay. Give me a second again. Okay, we will go with the new headline now. Anniversary summit was meant to showcase the Trump of against law for 3 days Australia in the face of looking for firm signs of support, although NATO will not be extending his country an invitation to join. Founded in 1949 to provide collective defense against the Soviet nation, NATO returned in some ways to its original mission when allies rallied into Ukraine's defense after it was invaded by Russia in 2022. Ukraine hardened most of the US by repelling Russia in its push for a quick victory. But Moscow's troops have been grinding on, making advances in the east. A European official acknowledged the mood ahead of the NATO summit has become gloomy, with Ukraine slipping on the fragile front line. This summit will be very different from the initial plans because it is happening at the critical juncture for European security, the official said on condition of anonymity. Russia is today in a situation which is quite comfortable. They think that they can simply wait it out, he said. Max Bergman, director of the Europe, Russia, and Eurasia program at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, said the summit comes at the best times and the worst of times. The best of times in the sense that the allies knows what's about deterring Russia. Alliance members are spending more, he said. But it's also sort of the worst of times, obviously because of the war in Ukraine, challenges of ramping up European defense spending, concerns about the reliability of the United States. Okay, let's see if the headline, if the initial headline that I was about to cover is still taken down. I just have to double check. I just have to double check real quick. Okay, it is indeed taken down, so unfortunately we won't be able to cover that for this one. But anyways, let's move on to the entertainment headlines now. A whopping 1 million pesos awaits each of the Bining Pilipinas 2024 queens, the biggest prize money in the pageant's 60-year history, and the regaining title holders what they would do with such an amount that their would-be successors are set to receive. I would lie if I am not jealous, of course. I wish I could come compete right now. First of all, I would like to save it, invest in my journey for the international competition, of course, beginning Pilipinas Group Ana Valencia Lagrini told Inquirer.net in a recent interview. With so much money, you have the power to sustain yourself. Because I am sustaining myself for now, it's hard to find work. I'm actually working on being a boxing instructor right now to make a living. You know, it's hard. She continued. Lagrini said such a huge amount would have definitely helped lessen her struggle. She also shared, I want to be able to support my family in the future, but right now I have to make it myself to get to the point where I can finally sustain and support my family as well. And for the Ricky Bining Pilipinas International Angelica Lopez, she would have spent half of the amount on herself and her family. I will probably give the half of it to those less fortunate kids, less fortunate people, because I believe that it would really help them the most. She said, I am a person who thinks that if I do things, it's always for the greater good. So I do things my passion in life, my purpose, not only for myself, but also for the people around me, she added. And that is said for koolNews at noon. As always, you can send a newsletter to us at tvh.philippines.news@gmail.com. And we will be back with more headlines later with koolNews at 4 p.m., 6 p.m., and primetime at 9 p.m. Until then, I am Aspir, and this has been koolNews at noon. Good afternoon.